Do not judge lest you be judged, for with what judgment you judge, you shall be judged. And with the same measure you use, it shall be measured to you. Isn't that kind of what I was just talking about? That's exactly what I was just talking about. Here you are judging the other person, and yet that same measure is going to be used to judge you because you're doing the same thing. By the way, this does not say that you don't have discernment or judgment to make choices because of what you see happening around you, but you're not judging. I know this is a subtle thing, and people are going to email me, as they always do, and argue with me. Okay? If I see you doing something that I don't feel comfortable I should be a part of, I can use judgment not to join in. However, if I now jump to a conclusion that you're a loser, sinner, blah, 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 now I've judged you. I've gone beyond using judgment. Is this making sense? I use judgment to realize whatever that is over there, I don't know why you're doing it. I'm not going to judge why it's happening. I don't know what your life has been. I don't know what you've been through. I just know I don't probably need to be a part of that. So I'm going to use my judgment to avoid that, whatever that is. As opposed to going to somebody, can you believe so-and-so, they're doing this and that, blah, 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 blah. See, now you're in judgment. You're condemning them, you're mocking them, you're ridiculing them. You believe that you know that they should be doing better because you don't need to know the rest of their story. But by the way, you have a story too. And you used to do some things. Matter of fact, you still do some things that people might look at you, but they don't know where your struggle is. Just like you don't know where their struggle is. So he says here, don't judge, otherwise you'll be judged. So he's not telling you not to use judgment and discernment. He's saying, but don't judge. Don't be the judge on the judgment seat, right, in a court and render judgment. You're a sinner. You're not getting into the kingdom. You're condemned. In other words, don't come to a conclusion about them. They're a work in progress just like you are. He says, and why do you look? Because you're not going to go into this process in verse 1 and 2 unless you did this thing in verse 3. He says, why do you look at the splinter in your brother's eye, but do not notice the plank in your own? Or how is it that you say to your brother, let me remove the splinter out of your eye and see, a plank is in your own eye? Hypocrite, first remove the plank from your own eye, then you shall see clearly to remove the splinter out of your brother's eye. Okay, let's stop there. Does anybody not know these verses? We've all heard these verses like a million times. But all of you have had your moments where you're out there thinking it's your job to straighten everybody out. I think the plank in your eye, whatever that is, probably can keep you busy plenty. Whatever plank or multiple planks, I mean, some of you have a whole lumberyard. I know I do. So I'm just going by myself. That's enough to keep you busy. Now, unless your job is like in leadership ministry to help people with their splinters, it's not your job unless it actually is your job. In other words, you actually have the title and the position, not because you claim that that's what God gave you to do, but you actually have that job. And by the way, if you have that job, you have to be very careful and loving and merciful and fruit of the Spirit when you deal with people with their splinters. But never forget even then that you have a plank. But he says, why do you look at the splinter and not notice the plank? This is why people should not be beating all these, go on social media, go on Facebook right now. You can see this. Well, don't. You're at Shabbat services. Don't disturb your peace. But if you go onto social media, what are you going to see? Everybody running around with giant planks in their eyes, criticizing everybody else's splinter. If the body would just listen to Yeshua's words here in chapter 7 of Matthew, unity would come. This right here alone would bring a tremendous amount of unity. Because it's this whole splinter plank thing that's causing such tremendous division, and people running around with their feelings hurt, and they're being treated horribly, and they're offended, and all that other stuff. And we can't just say, well, they shouldn't get offended. Well, you know what? We're all very damaged, broken emotionally and psychologically. That's going to take a long time to heal. But you can do is focus on your plank and leave their little splinter alone. Let Abba work with that. He will. He's waiting for you to calm down so he can work with you with yours. But there's enough there to keep you busy, I think. And Yeshua says very quickly, hypocrite. Now, if you listen to the get out the leaven teaching, you know that that's about as harsh a language as you're going to get from Yeshua calling you a hypocrite. The Father says that too throughout the whole Old Testament. The worst thing that you want to be called is a hypocrite. And he says, look, if you're going to do these things, you are a hypocrite. If you're going to say to your brother, let me remove the splinter out of your own eye and don't see the plank in your own, you're a hypocrite. Remove the plank first. And by the way, it is a lumberyard. You get that plank out, you're not done. There's more. There's plank after plank. I mean, this will keep you busy till you die. In case you think that you just have to fix one little thing and now you can go start working on everybody else. No, whatever you've got, I promise you will keep you busy till you stop breathing. You don't need to fix everybody else. But this is causing division. This is causing a lack of unity, a lack of love in the body. A lot of people say, I just don't feel the love in the body. Well, let's go back to Matthew 7 and focus on what he's talking about here. Work on that plank, leave everybody else's splinter alone.